So there have been a bunch of issues being reported for the iPhone 15 Pro lineup. Three of the most common, number one being overheating, number two, battery life, and last but not least, durability of this titanium frame. So I have been playing around with this phone. This is the 15 Pro Max. I've used it caseless. So I want to give you my feedback as to what I think about each one of these issues. Now, to make it easy on you so that you don't have to watch the whole video, I've put chapters down below so you can jump to your dedicated chapter, and hopefully this will help you figure out whether these issues are to be concerned about or not. So the first issue I want to talk about is overheating. Now, I'm comparing how toasty this one's getting compared to what would happen on the 14 Pro Max, because this is the successor to it and it only makes sense. So I've personally tried to get the phone to warm up. For example, one day I went out in the daylight, the sun was hitting the phone, I was watching a football game through the NFL Plus app, and I didn't notice anything abnormal. Now, it did get warm. It got pretty warm, but that is what would happen on the 14 Pro Max. So this isn't something that is exclusive to the 15 Pro Max. Now, one thing I have noticed is that sometimes when you open up an app, so let's say I open up Instagram and I want to just upload a photo, all of a sudden you notice the phone get really warm and then it just cools right back down. And that to me shows that there might be some kind of software bug to where the A17 Pro is kicking up a notch, thinking that, well, you need more processing power, because that is basically what gets a phone warm in the first place, is when your processor is really churning, and that's what generates all the heat. So sometimes that happens, and then it just cools right back down. So I don't know if that is exclusive to my phone, but that is the only abnormality that I've seen in terms of overheating. Other than that, this one warms up just like the 14 Pro Max did. So both of them, I haven't noticed anything to the point where I'm like, this is getting really, really hot. Lastly, I honestly think that there is some kind of software bug, as I mentioned about opening an app and the phone getting warm and then cooling back down. I think this is going to be something that Apple is going to address with a software update, and hopefully that takes care of any issue that anybody out there is having. If you at home have an iPhone 15 Pro or Pro Max and are experiencing an overheating issue, write down below in the comments. I'd love to go back and forth with you and find out what's going on, because I don't have this issue, but from what I've seen online, it is something that is happening to a lot of people. Now, moving on to battery, because that is directly proportionate to the heat issue. For example, if your phone is overheating, batteries don't like heat. That makes them burn through a battery a lot faster. So if you're experiencing issue number one, I'm pretty sure you're experiencing issue number two, which is battery life. Again, as far as I've noticed, when I go out to use a camera and when I've shot and log, I can churn through battery pretty quickly. But that is to be expected because you're pushing the processor, and camera, even on the 14 Pro Max, is really going to use a lot of your battery, especially when you're continuously shooting. Now, as far as noticing a difference between the 14 Pro Max and the 15 Pro Max, both of them are able to easily get me through the day. And what I mean by that is by the end of the day, I'm still at around 30%. So that is pretty good. The one day that I actually got down to 20% with the 15 Pro Max was the day that I continuously was out and about shooting in log format, because I am working on a review. So if you want to see my review of the 15 Pro Max, make sure you subscribe to the channel. Now, last but not least, let's talk about durability. Now, the way I've been testing durability is just by normal usage. So I don't find those tests useful. Look, I'm not going to test the durability of wood by lighting it on fire, because every material has its weakness. So how I've been going about this is just by doing normal everyday things. Putting the phone without a case into my pocket, putting it face down onto a table, putting it camera facing down onto a table. So that is how I've been testing the durability. Now, I personally have the natural titanium, and this is the color I think that is the one to go for. If you want to have a look at all the different colors, I did do a video of the 15 Pro and Pro Max colors. I'll link that down below and maybe even up here in the corner for you to check out. Reason I like this color is because it's not going to show fingerprints. If you really start to look at this, you can see fingerprints on the rails, but because of its color, it hides them really well. This was the same issue that we had with stainless steel, and a lot of people thought that, hey, perhaps now that we don't have that glossy stainless steel like we did on the Pro models before, maybe we won't see fingerprints, but fingerprints are still visible. Now, the other area of concern in terms of durability is always going to be scratches. So I had to look really hard, but I did find a scratch on the frame here. But I'm telling you, no matter how hard I try, I cannot get the camera to capture it. Whether I try to hit it with light or away from the light, I will do my best to show it to you. But see, that's another reason to get the natural titanium. If you have to really look for scratches, because this doesn't have a coating on it, like the blue or the black or even the white, so it's naturally just not going to show those scratches like you get on the Apple Watch Ultra. Although I do have a chip at the top portion of the frame. I don't know how this got here. As far as I remember, I have not hit this phone with anything yet, so I'm not even sure as to how this happened, but it did. Now, this happened several days ago, and I was like, it kind of worried me because I was like, wait a minute, is this titanium even going to be strong enough? But after that, nothing has happened. So maybe I did nudge this against something and I just don't remember, but that is there and I'll do my best to capture it on camera. Again, very difficult to do so. But overall durability, as far as a week of usage, normal usage, has gone nothing of concern. I wouldn't really be worried, but if you have a black one, a blue one, or even the white, what are you noticing in terms of durability? Put that in the comments down below. So there you have it. That's been my personal experience in terms of these three issues that I kept seeing popping up. What's been your experience? Drop it in the comments and we'll continue talking there. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up as it really helps me out. Take care of yourself and I will see you in the next video.